Welcome to the Crawfordsville Peach Cast, hosted by Dave Peach. The Peach Cast is sponsored by Central Indiana Rubber Products, Power for You.
Crawfordsville Peach Cast, a very special Untoasted. It's Xanadu. We've got Dave Meyer. Dave, how are you?
Oh, I'm excited to be here on this special Untoasted Peach Cast.
And we have got a special guest, Captain Adam from Yacht Rock Radio. Captain, how are you?
I'm great. I had to be on this episode if you're talking about Xanadu.
No question about that. We want to thank our sponsor, Central Indiana Rubber, CIR, Power for You, 123. Hello, Todd. 1980, Xanadu, movie number 57 for us. Olivia Newton-John played Kira. Gene Kelly, Danny McGuire, Michael Beck, Sonny Malone, ELO, and I've got a tidbit, James Sloyan, Slooyan. He played Simpson.
One name.
He was born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
No way.
Yes way.
Who is Simpson? Was that his coworker at the art gallery?
He was the owner. He was the owner of the owner of the album thing.
Okay. And he's from Indianapolis. All right.
You got it. Captain, Xanadu actually captivated you as a young child, and I'll let you tell the story from there.
Well, I was talking to Dave in our pre-production meeting here about my knowledge of the film Xanadu, and it's really not as a film critic. I've done no research on this film other than my affinity for this movie as a 10-year-old watching Xanadu on HBO every day during the summer of 1980. So when I was 10 years old, I had no idea this movie sucked. I had no idea.
Don't sugarcoat it, Captain.
I had no idea that it bombed in the theaters. When I'm 10, that movie was awesome to me. Awesome. And now I'm 55, and when I watch that movie, and I do twice a year at least, I'm still thinking it's an awesome movie. So my knowledge of that film is from a 10-year-old's eyes and ears. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack was a huge success.
Sure.
Tons of hits.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how often that happens where the soundtrack was immensely popular and the movie was a total turd. I think if one's popular, it usually carries the other.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the weeds on Saturday Night Fever, but there's just great stories about, if you saw that documentary, every time they released a song from the album, the movie was number one in the theaters again. Then the movie would drop out of the top spot and they'd release another song from the album, and then the movie would become the number one movie again. So usually popular soundtracks will carry a movie, not in this case. But I just love that movie. I've got some stupid trivia about the movie if you want to get into the weeds on that later during the show. But that's just my initial there's my initial feelings on the film, the cinematic masterpiece known as Xanadu.
You're talking about the soundtrack, and it was a double platinum album.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, Captain, weigh in on this. There was a John Farrar side and a Jeff Lynne side. They actually had their own side of the album. Do you know anything about why this was? Why they couldn't just commingle the whole thing?
Well, I did know that the side 2 is mostly Electric Light Orchestra, and side 1 is Olivia Newton-John. My guess and gut just says that they're two different artists, so they just divided it up.
Even though Xanadu is Olivia Newton-John, and it's on the ELO side,
and it is it's an ELO song with OLN on lead vocals.
That's good. That's good.
We got it. Now, Captain, go ahead.
I said OLN. It's ONJ.
ONJ. I've got ONJ. I've got ONJ written down a lot on my notes. What for you is the weirdest part of this movie, Captain?
It's good, Dave. It's a good question.
That's a great question. The weirdest part of the movie, musically, I'll get to the music part in a second, but the weirdest part to me is that the guy that plays David, what was his name in real life that was in the Warriors? Beck?
Michael Beck.
Michael Beck.
Michael Beck.
Okay, so his character in the movie, Sonny, it's Sonny, right?
Sonny Malone.
Sonny Malone. Sonny Malone, all of a sudden, out of the blue, for no reason, becomes best friends with an 80-year-old Gene Kelly. And not only do they all of a sudden, out of the blue, meet on the beach and become best friends, but they decide to go into business together in the worst industry you possibly could do, which is the restaurant bar business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
So that's the weirdest part of the movie.
So basically, the whole premise of the movie is the weirdest part for you, other than Olivia Newton-John. ONJ.
Right.
Oh, it makes total sense that a muse would, arise from the gods and become human form on Earth and roller skate on the pier in Santa Monica. That makes total sense. But I just don't see a 27-year-old hipster in LA becoming best friends with a 80-year-old aging, dying musician from the 1930s.
Well, I mean, it was convenient that the muses were on a landscape of near the beach,
yes,
enabling them to come to life at this point.
Dave, I always wondered how many, and this is some research for your crack team there, how many of those actresses that played one of the muses, how many of them were also members of the Solid Gold dance team?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think I recognize one for sure.
Oh,
again, remember,
it's got to be at least a few.
At least a few. And I grew up, learned a lot about myself by watching Solid Gold and the Solid Gold dancers. So I think a lot of those roller skating muses in that opening scene when they come off the brick wall, that really was reminiscent of an episode of Solid Gold.
It was so good, Dave. The Sonny Malone character. It kind of starts out. He wants to know who's in the picture, right? So he goes to this guy, right, and says, "Lou, I'm looking for this," and Lou says, "No." But then before he departs, Lou says, "Do you want to see pictures of my daughters?" That's the weirdest part of the movie for me, Dave.
Well, they're trying to fix him up. He looks exactly like Andy Gibb.
He does. He's kind of a huskier Andy Gibb. He still had a little bit of that meat from the Warriors.
Dave, anything you want to ask the captain about this cinematic masterpiece?
Well, in the scope of our what was happening in music, this came after Saturday Night Fever. So they were trying to do some kind of the Sgt. Pepper's movie didn't work, right? Or didn't do as what they wanted it to do, but Saturday Night Fever done unbelievable. So was there a plan? Was this obviously not in the yacht rock world, but was there a plan for this soundtrack?
Well, I think you hit on something there that people, when there's lightning in a bottle, people try to recreate it. So I think they were certainly hoping the movie and the soundtrack would carry itself. Right then and there, they were probably ecstatic that at least one of the products worked.
Sure.
So the album and the hits, over the top, awesome. And I could almost see somebody saying, "We don't care that this movie bombed. We kind of thought it would anyway. The soundtrack's awesome. Carry on, everybody. Great job."
Exactly.
No, I'm not saying that happened, but I could believe it if it did.
Captain, you said that the soundtrack kind of got you going on the yacht rock scene. And as far as yacht rock, I mean, it hits right at 1980, a movie that has become a cult classic, kind of fits into that yacht rock pocket.
It is a cult classic. I think it complements the that nostalgic one-hit wonderness that yacht rock sometimes tends to have. It takes you back to a time and place and makes you feel good about where you were. And it's an escape from current day, the problems and disasters that you're dealing with every day now as a full-grown adult. You can go back in time through a time machine and have some pretty good memories. I do think as far as yacht rock, it's not, the purists would say that it's not exactly yacht rock. I know Electric Light Orchestra is way more classic rock and classic hits. I play a couple of songs from this soundtrack from ELO on Yacht Rock Radio. They certainly fit in. They fit in perfect. The Olivia Newton-John, Cliff Richard duet, Suddenly, that is a full-blown certified yacht rock hit. I believe Magic is also a full-blown yacht rock smash. So yeah, I think it connects easily with the yacht rock universe. One thing I was going to say about one of the songs on the album, it wasn't really a hit, but I love it, is the part of the movie. This is when you ask the weirdest part of the movie. Musically, the weirdest part is when the big band emerges with the 80s rock band. They're playing two completely different songs, and when they merge, the songs fit together. I think it's a pretty good song.
Yeah, I recall that too. I thought, wow, they kind of made that work. It is that part of it work, because as they were getting there, it seemed real obvious on both ends, and then it's almost like they pulled me in, and I didn't realize they were doing it.
Captain, one more tidbit on Xanadu on your mind?
Well, the scene, the big band and the rock band that merge that we were just talking about, the funny little tidbit about that is the rock band in that scene is the Tubes that had the huge hit She's a Beauty. And the lead singer of the Tubes never talks about this movie. He will not answer questions. I've always wanted to interview the lead singer of the Tubes just to sort of dance around the issue, not even say the word Xanadu, maybe just mention that he's worked with Gene Kelly, just to see if he starts complaining or if he just gets up and leaves the room. I mean, how close you could get to talking about Xanadu with the Tubes before they would leave the room. You can't ask them about it. They won't. They disavowed any participation with the film or the soundtrack. And I don't know. After all these years, why not? I mean, why not have a little Xanadu reunion and have the Tubes perform that song with a big band? I want to see it.
Captain Adam, we are going to have you on a Crawfordsville Peachcast talking about yacht rock. This will be show number 4 for you, and we thank you for joining us during segment 1 of the Untoasted edition, Xanadu. Thanks, Captain.
Thank you.
Captain Adam, Dave Meyer, and Dave and I will return to talk more Xanadu after this on the Crawfordsville Peachcast. Central Indiana Rubber Products provides the power for you. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, keeps farm equipment and local manufacturing processes running with gaskets, belts, seals, and O-rings, among a variety of other products and services. Employee-owned and always customer-focused. Central Indiana Rubber Products, 989 West, 83 North, Crawfordsville, and at indianarubber.com. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, power for you. Crawfordsville Peachcast, another big thank you to Captain Adam for joining us on this Untoasted episode Xanadu 1980, movie number 57. Dave, guys like me shouldn't dream anyway.
No, Dave, you're just a guy that's wanting to find out who's in the picture, so you can find out your life makes sense. Dave, could you ever roller skate at any level?
No.
Okay.
I wish I could come up with something more eloquent, but the answer to that is a quick no.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to be able to go around the rink with a young lady and not embarrass both of us. And it never happened, Dave.
Well, the line, guys like me shouldn't dream anyway, early in the picture in Xanadu, Also, the song I'm Alive. And we find out that Olivia Newton-John, Kira, is alive, along with the other muses. And we'll find out about those muses a little bit later on. But at the time that the gals, let me do a little sportscaster. At the time the gals came alive off the wall there at the pier or whatever it was, we didn't really know exactly what the situation was.
We didn't know, Dave. They were glowing. That's what we could be. Wait a minute. They're glowing. Okay.
Wait a minute. The muses will be important later. You have no idea what you're looking at right now.
Right.
You might,
that's
about an hour and a half into an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, you might know. But at this point, you have no clue.
No, you're kind of confused. I did, in doing some of my research, Dave, I did find out that there were some things about the movie. One of the things that they said was basically in an early version of the script, it was clear that he meaning our protagonist, Sonny, had actually been the artist who had done the muses. Okay. Now, somewhere along the line, when the movie, when no one was getting the script at a place that anybody liked, I guess that kind of left the building. So apparently they were, they were saying later when people were saying, I don't get it. They said, well, geez, if we'd understand that would have helped us. Dave, I don't know if that would have helped.
It's one of those things you just have to go with.
You got to go with that's the only way to watch this movie. And if you go in with kind of this is a fantasy musical. I hate, somewhere in reading about this in prep, the word sci-fi, you see sci-fi. No, fantasy, musical fantasy is about the right zone, I would say.
The budget.
If you go in with that, and that's what you expect to see, well, then you should enjoy this.
The budget was $20 million. It made $23 million, so it made a profit.
Yeah, this was this would have probably not been as panned back in the day. This was I think originally they were going to say this was going to be a low budget roller disco, and then when the project evolved, they kind of kept the roller disco part, which again, like, it did employ a lot of people, Dave. There are a lot of people roller skating to music in this movie.
Now the muse, Kira, Olivia Newton-John, comes alive and immediately is enamored with the Andy Gibb lookalike, Michael Beck.
Right. That is our guy.
That's just, he's the guy. He has he went after his dream. It didn't work. He's now back at his dead end job, and fortunately, Olivia Newton-John kisses him out of nowhere at Venice Beach.
Yes,
and that kind of helps him out.
Yeah. No,
it's just that easy.
It is just that easy. Michael Beck was, I'm trying to remember, he could be the Glenn Powell of his day, in that he was like, he and Michael Pere were kind of the guys at this, like, the tough guy era guys. Anyway, so he was in The Warriors, he was Swan, which was the lead character, and he is definitely the lead character in this movie, even though it's obviously marketed as the Olivia Newton-John piece with, a strong Gene Kelly chaser. I think he's more believable as a tough guy than he is as the artistic painter who can roller skate and jump through dimensions with enough willpower.
Is this where they shot the Three's Company open?
Yeah. I mean, this is the come knock on our door place, Dave.
I kind of noticed that. Let's see. They discover the future home of Xanadu. Kira is there.
Yeah.
And immediately after that, Gene Kelly and Sonny meet. And as Captain said, they immediately become fast friends.
Well, okay. I will say this. I looked it up, Dave. Gene played the clarinet. So he was actually playing the clarinet. Now, he wasn't, a big band era but yeah, we'll give him at least him playing the clarinet on the beach, which was as weird as it can get. At least it was actually him playing.
Suddenly plays, and I kind of got the kind of the endless love vibe.
Yes.
They were out there roller skating to Suddenly, and going back to the soundtrack, Suddenly is a great song.
It is, and especially with our recent discussions with Captain Adam, the sonic quality, like that sounded so good, right? How because like Cliff Richard was like considered an old teenager then, because he was like, I think in his late 40s in like the 70s. I don't know how old he is today, Dave, or what he's up to, but yeah, that song was like the perfect slow roller skate, whatever the slow dance equivalent on skates is, Dave. That was it.
Well, they found the spot for Gene Kelly's re-entry into the music world.
Yes.
And somehow the tubes and a big band play was that in actuality, or was that in our imagination?
No, Dave, I saw it. At first, I wasn't putting it all together. They were that band in orange, okay, and then as they started doing the cutaways, I'm realizing, oh, that's the tubes, okay. And let me just talk about two of the cutaways that, I don't say they stained me, Dave, but they've stayed with me, okay. The first one is, I believe the drummer's name is Perry Prince, and there was a female person sitting on his head as he played. Okay, that was one cutaway. That was one. But my favorite, Dave, and I will not name the guitarist because I don't know his name, but a strong fella. Maybe this guy might have not even been a member. He was strong, Dave, because he was playing a woman as a woman air guitar, Dave. It was a woman air guitar. So it wasn't on there long.
It was a different time.
It was a different time, Dave. So yes, that was those are the tubes, were the tubes, and we both saw that.
I'm rolling through these, and then of course, what do they call the place? Well, how about Xanadu? Sound like and then we have an animated sequence. Don't Walk Away.
Dave, that took me out of there, so I had to say, okay, I'll give them this. I just got to give them this. Whatever they're doing here, Dave, I'm not going to follow. I'm just going to acknowledge.
The franchised glitz dealer, this just in, Gene Kelly did look good.
Oh,
and he could dance.
Oh,
and
yeah.
As I'm watching this, I'm thinking, this is the most expensive Old Navy commercial ever.
Oh, Dave, it's so good. So good. And it is because, they literally, part of it was done with the montage sequences, like with Gene trying on his new look for the club ownership, Dave.
Yeah, he just snap his fingers and the solid would become plaid, and I like that. I tried that around the office.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Blue
Dave,
shirt.
Okay,
now
what's your
brown?
over
now
under
pink.
on
now orange? Woo!
How many costume changes do you think Olivia Newton-John had in this movie?
20.
I'd say 50.
50. Yeah,
I would guess 50.
Yeah,
because
it's hard.
Now the other thing too, when they're going through that sequence where they're in the mind of Gene, he has the 40s thing, and in the mind of Sonny, he's got the 80s rock or whatever, and it starts to come together. You realize right then, because we're far enough away from the 80s, right, that we can look at everything fairly objectively.
Well, the guy talked about, hey, these are the 80s. Well, we just got to the 80s.
Yeah, we just got to
the 80s. He
80s.
doesn't even know what the 80s is.
No, they were projecting. And, Dave, their projections, what I can say is the 40s looked a lot cooler, okay? The 80s looked like we didn't know what to do with colors, but we were going to do too much with whatever we were doing. So that's what I thought. The 40s, the classic, looked good. And Gene, in every part of this movie, Gene is credible and good.
No doubt about that. Gene Kelly, I think his career pretty much tanked after this movie.
Well, I think he chose. I don't think after it was over. Like there were some things written he didn't. He didn't like some things and how they were cut or whatever, but he did not talk about it. And then, more evidently, Dave, he'd never worked again.
That is unfortunate. All over the world, I didn't know that the song actually had like city names in it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I guess I just heard it on the radio, Dave. So it didn't come out to me. But no, there's so many.
I mean,
That's
it's
one.
London, Hamburg, Paris, Rome, Rio, Hong Kong, Tokyo,
Oh,
L.A., New York, Amsterdam, Monte Carlo, Chardin, and
I don't know.
Yeah, but I love that Tokyo.
Yeah, we were going with it.
I guess I didn't know what they were saying until I saw it.
No, we were following along, Dave. Just
so tomorrow's going to be the most beautiful day in the world, and then we are introduced to Mount Helicon. We find out that she's a muse. Her father is Zeus. She's got 8 sisters.
Yeah,
and Kira will love him forever.
Right.
He breaks into the other world. Zeus and his wife talk it over off camera.
Hang on, Dave.
Yeah.
You went over that pretty quick.
Yeah,
because what we're talking about here is somehow he decides that to get to the other world, he's going to jump through a wall with painted pictures. Okay, and now he thinks about it because they want to show that he's being deliberate. Okay, they don't want to show that he's doing this willy-nilly, Dave. He circles it a couple of times before he goes for it. And then once he jumps, there's, of course, somehow no impact, and he's in this black force field. And then eventually, Dave, he's also adorned with light.
With what?
Kind of the coverage light. That yellow,
I got you. Yeah,
red,
I
blue
got you. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, okay, pick it up from there, Dave. We're in the other world.
Zeus and his wife are talking it over off camera. Then he says, Zeus says, well, maybe just one moment or forever. Ooh. I keep getting them mixed up too.
Oh, such a good line, Dave.
They're appealing to Zeus to somehow get these two in a permanent way.
Yes.
The wife, Zeus's wife, I don't know what her name is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Zeus's wife.
I assume Zeus says okay. Eventually, Gene Kelly puts on roller skates. We go to Xanadu. Olivia Newton-John rocks. Olivia Newton-John sings country.
Yeah.
Xanadu is sung again, and
we're appealing to every demo. Dave,
I mean, it's going. It's just. I mean, the end scene is just something that just keeps on going. I don't know what's going on. White dress. It just keeps. And finally, there's a waitress that is Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
And that, well, I shouldn't. I'm sorry, I just gave away the end of the movie, but I mean, you could probably figure out. But Olivia Newton-John shows up as a waitress and hands Michael Beck a drink.
Yeah. And that's how we wrap it up, Dave. So, yeah, it's musical fantasy from another era. I mean, this came out in the summer of August 1980. Okay, so a long time ago in a far, far away place. Now, Dave, there are some aspects of this movie that I want to comment on, Dave.
Go ahead.
Besides, well, the big thing, Dave, is this movie that eventually they put it together in a double feature. Did you know this? With Can't Stop the Music. Okay.
Legitimately?
Legitimately. They did a double feature with Xanadu and Can't Stop the Music. And that combo was the inspiration for the guy that created the Golden Raspberry Awards, which annually now recognizes the worst in cinema.
I'd have to say
So-
it had more impact in the 80s than it does today.
Yeah, yes, I would, but this is something. This did. There was a Broadway play that was created out of this later. But the thing, there's so many things about this. But the thing locally I want to comment on, Dave, is in this movie there are some scenes that show a young Danny McGuire, that's Danny McGuire as Gene Kelly's character. Do you recall these scenes, Dave?
I do, yes.
Okay. In these scenes, Matt Lattanzi is playing the young Danny McGuire character. Okay. Do you recall Matt Lattanzi's small little place on the pop culture radar, Dave?
I do not.
Okay. And Dave, I don't want you to feel shame as a result of that. I really don't, because there's no way you or anybody else would have picked up on that if you didn't actually once hang out while Mr. Lattanzi was working here in Indianapolis on a movie called Diving In. Okay, so let's flash forward, Dave, to about, I don't know, it's 1989, maybe it's 1990. I think it's 1989, Dave. Maybe 88. Anyway, there's a movie being made in Indianapolis. And this was, after a couple of like Hoosier movies were made, beginning with Hoosiers and after that Rudy. So it was conceptually, it sounded like this diving movie that featured Burt Young. Burt Young, Dave, from Rocky fame, was the diving coach and the only name in the movie, Dave. But one of the leads was a young actor who was married to Olivia Newton-John. And Dave, that actor was Matt Lattanzi, who met her while they filmed Xanadu.
That is
Now,
amazing.
Dave, they had a daughter, and their marriage did not last long. His career in the arts did not last long. And he moved back to Portland, Dave, and I'm sure he's doing well today. But I remember watching him work, and then people telling me, "No, that is Olivia Newton-John's husband," and I was mesmerized.
Wow. Now, how old was she and how old was he?
He was, and this was before the concept, except in the Hollywood social circles. She was probably at least a dozen years his senior at this point. So he was somewhere in his 20s, and I'm guessing, at least a dozen years. Olivia Newton-John was above him.
So he had some Indianapolis ties as well, at least as far as filming the
At
movie.
least as far as the movie, yeah. The other thing I can say, local radio personality Tom Griswold appeared in the movie as he was like the PA announcer for the announcing the results at this swimming competition. So he had, he got some on air time just as a result of that.
Young Danny McGuire, Matt Lattanzi, 2 T's and a Z.
Matt, Dave, this was a different era, different era. There's a couple of things. One thing I saw, which is my favorite. If you're just going to take an assessment of this, if somebody says, "Tell me about Xanadu," and that you only have 5 seconds, you should say, "This is a shut your brain off and enjoy it movie."
Just kind of
That's it,
take it.
Dave.
Just roll with it, man.
That's your 5 seconds.
Roll with it. It is Xanadu 1980, Untoasted, movie number 57. We're back to wrap it up after this. Dave Peach here with Brandon Kappas from BK Home Improvement. And Brandon, you have an exciting announcement.
Yes, Dave, thank you. We're excited to announce Zahn's Floor Covering is now Zahn's Flooring and Design Center, acquired by BK Home Improvement.
I understand Bob Zahn will be staying to help.
We are excited to have that, and absolutely, Zahn's Flooring and Design Center is happy to have Bob Zahn still involved in that same local presence they're used to dealing with.
There has been a little confusion. BK Home Improvement is not affiliated with BK Painting or BK Property Management. You are located at your headquarters in Lebanon, Indiana.
Yes, we are excited to expand both brand names inside of both markets for Lebanon and Crawfordsville. Please come visit our showroom at 310 North Green Street, as we will consistently be redesigning and offering new, innovative products and technologies.
And you are still going to say,
Zahn's Flooring and Design Center. We are everywhere you walk.
Crawfordsville Peach Cast. Now, Dave, something that I'm able to do.
Yes, Dave.
I am able to pan a movie like Xanadu, but I'm also able to love a movie like Xanadu.
Yes, and I think that's a beautiful thing, and I don't know if I love it, but I'm an admirer. Like, I could see, sometimes you watch a movie and you go, well, that's a bad movie, and I don't ever want to watch it again. If that came on again, I would probably hang with it. If it just showed up somewhere in my sphere. It has a quality, and I think the fact that we grew up when it was made makes us maybe more open to it. But it has I don't know, the fantasy aspect is you got to go with it, and if you go with it, then you don't get into the bad acting or the funky special effects, or some of the plot holes. Let's say.
When worlds collide in this movie, or I should say worlds collide in this movie, and that makes it fantastic. You've got Olivia Newton-John,
Mm-hmm.
who is pop star extraordinaire. You've got ELO, completely different from Olivia Newton-John. You might not even put them both together.
No, their music does not seem like it would intersect.
We'll throw the Tubes in there as well. I don't know where they land in all of this.
Again, the Tubes are kind of a prog rock, so they're even more on the other field.
And then you get Gene Kelly.
What do you want to say? I mean, Gene Kelly, arguably, the star choreographer of one of the maybe considered the greatest musical and one of the greatest movies of all time, Singing in the Rain, right? He's also in such movies as Inherit the Wind. This guy is, he had an incredible Hollywood career to end up in Xanadu in 1979.
It is Xanadu, Olivia Newton-John and company. Love it, hate it. I do think, before we get to the preview of next week, as far as the Untoasted and our season ender, as far as the Untoasted series for season 3, does this have anything going in a comic, however you say that, world?
It feels like it should, because it's kind of fantastical, and there seems to be a lot of that's kind of either come back or become much more popular. But I know there was, in the early 2000s, there was a Broadway musical adaptation. And it did well enough, Dave, that it was a hit and was nominated for several Tony Awards, and there was even a national tour after they were done playing. So this had legs and life long after the 1980 film. So I gotta believe more people are going to discover it, because there's nothing like it, and there's no way anything like it will ever be made today.
And you would imagine that there's more people besides Dave Meyer and Dave Peach that are going to pay $3.79 to Prime Video and watch this bad boy.
Well, and I think now we're kind of in all our, kind of our micro populations, right, Dave? Well, there's got to be a ton of people that enjoy roller skating or some kind of roller disco flashback events. And I got to believe this is their Lebowski movie, right? That, that people are coming around. I could see a midnight showing of this where everybody sings along, if you're a fan of this type of entertainment.
Tokyo.
Bring it all back.
Come
Dave.
on, man. Hey, coming up, what a segue into our final Untoasted movie coming up. It is Ed Wood Xanadu 1980. Let's go to 1959. Plan 9 from Outer Space, a movie about making that movie with director Ed Wood, and we get another Johnny Depp movie in before we call it a season.
Dave, it's a unique movie, and it's almost like it's both a movie and a film, in that it's a small artistic endeavor, but yet it takes a lot of big swings, and it has some big performances, and it's just fun. Again, I think Xanadu and Ed Wood, Dave, you are the way to bridge that gap, as no other force could bring those two together, Dave.
Somewhere by a pool, Matt Latanzi is wondering what could have been.
What could have been? Is anybody talking about me? Yes, Matt.
Oh.
Yes, we are.
Xanadu 1980. Dave, always fun to talk to you, and we'll talk about Ed Wood next.
My pleasure, Dave.
Dave Meyer, Dave Peach. We are sponsored by Central Indiana Rubber, CIR, Power for You, 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Hello.
Todd.
Thanks for listening to the Crawfordsville Peach Cast, sponsored by Central Indiana Rubber Products. Join Dave Peach every week on Apple or Spotify. Please like, subscribe, and download the Crawfordsville Peach Cast. This podcast was produced by Up There Media and is a presentation of Force Broadcasting Digital.